So does Chipman still have a chance, or is his nomination likely to get shot down? Here with us now to discuss is the Senior Vice President of Gun Owners of America, Eric Pratt. Thanks for being here tonight, Eric.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thanks for having me.
Great. So Chipman's nomination is still stalling in the Senate as moderate red state Democrats like Jon Tester of Montana and Joe Manchin of West Virginia, well, they're still holding back on giving him their support. Do you think that as more information like this keeps coming out about Chipman, that it'll continue to sink his chances?
I don't see how they can come out in support of him. This nomination is in big trouble. And, you know, this is something Gun Owners of America has been generating tens of thousands of emails and phone calls into the Senate, but we've been especially hyper-focused on the offices you just mentioned. Manchin in West Virginia, King of Maine, Tester of Montana, and so far they are refusing to announce support for Chipman. And the Democrat leadership in the Senate says that they don't have the votes. So I think this is a very good sign. I think as you laid out earlier, I mean, he's a hired gun. He's worked for several anti-gun organizations. He's been on Bloomberg's, part of his dynasty working for gun organizations there. Another one is the Giffords anti-gun organization. This is the most anti-gun pick that there's ever been for the ATF. So kudos to Senator Ted Cruz for making a big issue of this.
And do you think this kind of highlights or exposes the deep disconnect between the Democrats in the White House right now, the Biden administration thinking this guy was going to sail through to head ATF and then become the gun grabber that they wanted him to be, and then some of these red state Democrats saying, hold up, wait a minute, Americans broadly across the board, Democrats and Republicans, they love their God-given rights. I mean, we're seeing ammo shortages even, in part because so many guns are being sold. Do you kind of think that shows the disconnect between, I guess, the D.C. Beltway swamp and what the rest of the country actually thinks and beliefs about guns?
There's a huge disconnect. And this is amazing that they can't get this through because Democrats have enough votes to get any nomination that they want through. I mean, they have the majority. And yet here, they're not able to get them. And, hats off to Senator Mitch McConnell. I mean, he's used all this information that you've been talking about here really to shove it down the Democrats' throats. McConnell is telling Biden to withdraw this pick. The Republicans on the Judiciary Committee are unanimously are telling Democrats we need to hold more hearings on this and go through these allegations. The nomination is in big trouble.
Especially because I just saw new reports also coming out because we've seen Chipman several times now testifying before the Senate about his potential his nomination, his potential confirmation. But recently I'm seeing as well that it seems like Chipman didn't exactly alert the Senate chamber that back in, I believe it was 2012, that he was actually doing the rounds on Chinese communist propaganda networks. And of course, he was trying to, they were using what he was saying about guns in America and the unfortunate Sandy Hook school shooting that we saw that year to deflect blame away from themselves, because at around the same time, actually, in China, there was an elementary school where somewhere around 20 or so children actually were stabbed by a madman who made it on. And so the fact that Chipman seems quite friendly with the CCP in the same way that Biden, Feinstein, the rest of the Democrats seem to be, does that concern you as well?
Oh, it absolutely does. The fact that he was trying to deflect attention like this to help the communist Chinese and just focus attention on gun control. Even the liberal media is pointing out that Chipman helped the Chinese Communist Party downplay that attack. And what's interesting, Chipman knows this is a problem because he has tried to cover this up. The Senate Judiciary Committee asked him to list all the media interviews and quotes in his questions for the record. And he left off this interview that he did with the Communist Chinese TV. And I wonder why. By the way, posted this interview with the Chinese communists on our GOA YouTube page. I mean, it's definitely worth watching. But, this is just the tip of the iceberg. This guy wants to ban AR-15s. He's condescending towards people of other races. He's condescending towards gun owners. This is not somebody who should be put forward to lead any agency in our federal government.
And quickly before I let you go, whether or not we see Chipman heading ATF, where he'd be in charge of a lot of major policy decisions that could make millions of law-abiding gun owners into felons just overnight with the stroke of a pen over at ATF, whether or not that actually goes through and he actually or not gets confirmed, because as we're saying, it's getting stalled right now, thankfully, in the Senate. But I know Gun Owners of America, your organization, you guys do a lot of work in helping to block a lot of this gun control litigation that we're seeing. So quickly before I let you go, talk to us about some of what your organization's currently doing right now to fight back against Biden's gun-grabbing administration.
Well, people can go to our website at gunowners.org and sign up for our free email alerts. We're generating comments against all the ATF edicts. You know, Biden's trying to rule like a king, just issuing, anti-gun restrictions one after another. And, we're hoping that we can generate enough heat on this that they'll pull these regs. And if they don't, we'll take them to court just like we did with the bump stocks. And we even had a victory, the only organization to have a victory on bump stocks, and that was in the Sixth Circuit Court of Appeals. It's being challenged by the Biden administration. We recognize this is going to be a long haul, so I encourage people to go to our website. The signing up for the emails is free, but we'll keep people engaged so that we can save and protect our rights.
Eric, thanks for dropping by tonight.
Thank you.